Okay, wow, so good. I'm just going to get everything started on all the different platforms. I don't know why they don't all sync up together and make this easier for me, but we are going to get into this training here in just a second, in a hot
If you
sec.
get blackout drunk.
Okay, we're just pulling up Twitter so we can go live. Not Twitter, TikTok. Oh my God. I am an old lady, apparently. We are going to be getting started on this training in just a moment. Cool. We are almost live on everything. Wow. Today is going to be a big one. Okay. Awesome. 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 So excited for today. Thank you for being here. If you're joining me live, this is going to be really fun and really different. And I'm slightly nervous because I have only told this story in private communities in my Priestess of Protection group. I use a lot of discernment. We were going to talk about intuition today. They are similar in a lot of ways, but discernment is just using intuition in respect to asking God's opinion about things with people that I'm dealing with, making sure that I'm on the right path. So they are extremely similar and interconnected, but I have a lot of discernment about where I share the things that I've experienced because the powers that be often have an agenda that opposes the truth of some of the things that I share when you're inside my programs. And so that's talking about, let's call it the establishment, whatever you want to call it. And then people are programmed. We're all programmed. I went to university. I watch TV sometimes still. I, used to watch the news, have read a million magazine articles, have been through the traditional levels of schooling, right? So we all have some level of programming, and that programming can feel very, very, very loud when we are confronted with a message that is not something that we're used to hearing. And our brain doesn't enjoy cognitive dissonance. It's not a fun experience. It creates confusion, which can lead to a state of anxiety, and humans typically try to avoid cognitive dissonance, right? This is part of the ego, keeping you safe and quote unquote protected. But part of growth is being open to just hearing things that you may not have heard before and that may be unique. So I'm going to just enough with the preamble and get into the story here today about how these extraterrestrial beings, these aliens, actually abducted my energy body and stole my third eye, harvested my energy, and were using my intuition. Okay. And I had less access to it because it was being pulled on from multiple sources. Now, because aliens are so powerful, because they are from the future, they do not cord into human beings like the typical types of dark forces that I teach on, because they can do everything telepathically, and they have really, 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 really sophisticated advanced technology, obviously, right? These beings from the ancient future, from the future, right? Often when I am looking in on these beings and looking at what I need to clear in my field or a client's field, I will actually even learn about a new type of technology that they're using, a new way they're using one of their old tools that I've already seen 1,000 times before. And then God will show me what to do next, right? I let God take the reins when we get really, really deep into some of these more intense, I'll just call it, some of these more powerful clearings, because the entities and beings associated with them are just extremely strong. And they have a lot of will and a lot of intent, and they know what they want, and they're coming for it, whether we want them to or not, right? Especially if we're blind to it, we don't have spiritual sight turned on, we're not extremely in tune with our intuition, or we're feeling disconnected right now for some reason. That is those can all be things that can lead to this kind of invasion experience that I had. But I'm going to tell you exactly what happened to me, how I actually am responsible, because I created this essentially alien invasion. And I like to really, I say one thing I say when anybody joins me for even for just a one-on-one dark force clearing, or especially in my Priestesses of Protection group or a workshop, you've got to take radical responsibility for your role in allowing these dark forces to enter your energy field, because if not, then you cannot truly clear them. And that's not fun. That's not what we're here for. Like, if you're signing up for a clearing, I want you to get the most out of it. And I want you to be able to understand the roots, because dark forces, including aliens, are always a reflection, meaning that there is something about your thoughts, your actions, your energy that is out of alignment with God's will for your life. And so we've got to uncover what that root is if you want to be protected in perpetuity, if you don't want to keep battling the same types of dark forces. And my goal for every single person that I work with one-on-one or in my programs is that we end this battle, right? That your life, you get to enjoy the beautiful manifestations of being a human here on Earth. This is a coveted place to join. That's actually why aliens love it so much. It's considered an intergalactic exchange of information, a quote unquote living library. And so I always want people to be able to do a human thing. It's funny. I joined one of my own clients. One of my clients, she teaches as well, and I'm in her group. And I joined. It's cool, right? We just all women paying each other. I love that vibe. So I joined hers after a coaching session with them before, and I joined in one of her sessions, and I heard her repeating something that I had said to her, actually about this type of dark force. Is that when it's present, you just sometimes you just need to take a break. If you're feeling this energy really strongly around other people, if you learn how to clear it, then it'll just clear it. But and go do a human thing, right? You get up, you go on a walk, you go to the bathroom, and you just excuse yourself for a moment and allow yourself to get your bearings. And then you're going to realize, wow, there's actually an energy or an entity that is either making a play for some of your energy, trying to court into you, that this person is actively working with and calling in. And that can just feel like, whoa, what's going on here? But even the other day, I was sitting next to a stranger in my building, and I could just feel, I'm not going to say them aloud, but if you know, that kind of stuff gets looked for on these platforms. But they were all around her, and it was like my heart was beating out of my chest. And so even if you don't have spiritual sight turned on yet, that's how you can know these energies and these entities are real, because of the symptoms that they create. So today we're going to focus on extraterrestrials, aliens, whatever we want to call them, these intergalactic beings. And I'm going to tell you about my experience, which just hold me a little bit lightly here, guys, because I'm sure people are going to freak out about this. I get death threats on the regular, so that's fine. I did a TV show, a reality TV show, so I'm used to this shit, excuse my French, but all good. But this is what happened to me. And when I taught this in my level 2 Priestesses of Protection group recently, everybody said how much sense it made. So it might also create some light bulbs that go off for you. So the main thing is that aliens look to steal our divine connection and our intuition, right? And intuition comes from God. So I'm really talking about the same thing there. I'm talking about this energy that's above our head, above the physical body, in the 8th through the 12th chakra, okay? And if you're, just a quick sidebar, if you are curious how to increase your intuition, because ironically, intuition is actually energetic protection, and it's also what aliens and other types of dark forces steal. I am teaching a workshop on this live on May 13th, and it is going to be mind-blowing. You're going to learn how to turn on spiritual sight for them. Even if you feel like you can't see through your third eye, you'll be able to see through your human eye and your third eye when dark forces are around, with a little training and practice. But I'm going to teach you how to see them, how to feel them, how to know that they're around, as well as how to hear them, how to discern the voices in your head, because they can be aliens, right? Aliens are telepathic. It can be all different types of demons, especially king demons are very, very powerful. I just did a TikTok, YouTube short, and an Instagram reel on this. So if you want to learn more about my conversation with Lucifer lately and all the things he showed me and told me, go ahead and check that out. But yeah, this workshop's coming up on May 13th. The link is below, so I will drop that in the show notes. And I would love to have you. There's a code for $40 off for the next couple days called PRIESTESS40 in all caps. So if this is calling you, feel free to go ahead and use that because I would just love to get to know you, love to support you on your goal of increasing your intuition, raising your frequency, and just like having truth over your life and getting your control back from these energies and entities that have been sucking your energy without your consent, right? We can break all of these agreements and all of these cords and just all the great stuff that all the tools they use to be able to siphon from us without us knowing about it. So that's a quick just update there. Let's get into how this actually happened to me with aliens. Because the funny thing is aliens want this, like your intuition is your highest currency energy. It's this pure frequency when it's like, imagine that you're turning into God channel. You're turning into the most pure channel, the most pure frequency, like you're in the car back when cars used to have radios and you're just turning the tuner and boom, now you're on the God channel. And you can receive a download that is free from interference and dark force obstruction that is even devoid of ego, right? It's not even imprinting your own life experience over it. There's no judgment when you're receiving intuition. It just feels calm, pure, grounded. It feels truth. You might have a knowing in your body happening at the exact same time. So the reason that dark forces want this energy is because it is such a high currency in their world and obviously in our world, right? Because as humans, we can use intuition to make more money, to find our soulmate, I used intuition to get rid of mold. I had a 6-year mold saga and over a year-long parasite battle, probably like a year and a half, that, I mean, it got so bad in there that I was like, do I like think about checking out of this earth plane? Because like, if we can't figure this out, I don't know how many more years of just like actual destruction on my body and my mind, right? These things are all neurotoxins as well that I could take. So anyway, story for a different time because I'd never felt that bad in my life. So my point here is that they go after our intuition because it is so valuable and because you can use it to have all this foresight, right? And aliens are from the future and they are looking to create more foresight as well. They want this wisdom, right? That's held deep within our body as well. There are things, ancient codes and wisdom that we hold in our DNA that they're also seeking that they can get from sucking this higher energy out of us and harvesting it, using it for their own purposes. So the top dark forces, I'm just going to share this and we'll get into my story. I'm not delaying it, but this came up in my group yesterday and I just thought, wow, maybe everybody would like to know this. The top dark forces, in my experience, that attack intuition, first of all, every single dark force is courting into you. If they're not courting into you, somehow they are harvesting some of your energy and siphoning it off and using it. So that will affect your ability to just connect to intuition, even if they're not sucking the 8th through the 12th chakras. Just know that every single dark force does impact your energy, and intuition is energy. However, parasites are horrible for intuition, for like blocking intuition would be the best way to put it, because especially when you are detoxing them. First of all, when you have parasites in your body before you start detoxing them, they are literal demons, okay? So they can just intercept. You're going to think you're getting a word from God and it's a word from a demon. No fun. Okay. This has happened to me and it really throws things off, especially if you are using intuition in your business, your love life, for your health goals, whatever it is. When you start detoxing them and you wake up to that, amazing, but then you've got to detox them. And this is a process. I actually do teach on this in my Priestesses of Protection group because we don't just clear demons in the metaphysical, we also clear them in the physical, right? Probably wouldn't help if we just did one or the other if you think about it. So when you start detoxing them, they let off chemicals that create anxiety in the body. This is a survival mechanism for parasites, and that anxiety, once again, anxiety is the opposite of intuition, right? Fear, love, right? Fear is not of God. Fear is of the enemy, whatever you want to call it. And love is God, right? So when you are in a state of anxiety, your intuition is going to feel really, really rocky. Like you're not sure about anything. You don't know if you're getting the right answers, and you don't even like want to make moves. So parasites are like one of the top ones on my list. Number 2, I will tell you, aliens are so intense on your intuition compared to the other dark forces that I teach on. I teach on probably like 15 or 20 now. It's now level 3. I have level 3 different programs, levels of the Priestesses of Protection program. I don't know why I can't talk. Are they like trying to intercept me right now? I don't know. 3 different levels of Priestesses of Protection, because there just are so many different types of dark forces and groups that send these entities to you, that try to block your purpose, that want to block your love life. That's, I don't know, sometimes they don't even want us to live, right? That was certainly my experience, because I had never contemplated death before. So parasites, aliens, and then groups. And I need to be really careful about how I say this, because this goes against what the powers that be would want people to know. But think covens, think free. So these are just to give you an example of some of the groups that I teach on and help people break free from, that when they are targeting you, they will send hundreds. I have seen even 1,000 demons in my field, all different types. And when you have this experience, you cannot access your intuition. It literally feels like you're carrying hundreds of pounds of demon weight, and you couldn't possibly get up to that God frequency and get a pure answer that feels like you're sure that is coming from the highest level frequency, the highest truth in the world, that it feels like it's coming from pure love and light. So that is my quick sidebar on the main 3 types of groups that really attack our intuition. So my alien story is, okay, where do I want to start here? Like I said, clearing dark forces takes radical responsibility. So I'm going to start there and just own up to my part in this. And for a couple of years, especially when I started spending more time in LA, there was a lot of like alien energy in LA. It's everywhere, but I even feel it like berries here. But okay, so when I started coming out to LA a lot, I started connecting with the Pleiadians, which is a group of voyeur light beings from the Pleiades, the star system. Okay, these are future focused aliens that are mostly light beings, but there can be false light within this group. It gets a little more complex. I give whole trainings on this, but for the purposes of this episode, they contacted me, and I just opened up and received some healing energy from them, some telepathic communications from them, learned that I had a pre-agreement with them. If you're not familiar with this world, this might sound crazy to you, but if you are intuitive, you can cross-check anything I say. I would invite you to cross-check anything that I say with your own intuition and your own God connection, right? Because everybody has that ability. It just takes clearing and practicing and tuning. So I started gradually connecting with them, and their energy, when it's an invitation from the pure Pleiadians and from pure light, it feels very subtle, very gradual. And then, I don't know, about a year later, I just had this idea, like, I want more of them. I want to know more. Probably another dark force, right? That gave me that idea, because that is not of love, right? God isn't a God of more. God is a more of everything is enough, everything is perfect, and patience and the fruits of the spirit, right? So feeling I wanted more of them, feeling maybe I would teach on them someday, which I do now. But anyway, so I bought these programs, I bought these activations, I read 2 more books on the Pleiadians, trying to learn everything about activating these codes that I was told are inside of me, being able to do astral travel and journey to them and get to know them and all of this stuff. And while some of it worked, and I did learn some things that felt pure and true, and obviously I take anything that I learn now and I go and I cross-check that with the one true God, the King of the universe. I have learned my lesson. This desire to go to work with them was not pure. It was coming from energies around me and within me that were wanting more. Like I said, I was trying to get something, see how they could help me manifest things, use their healing energy, learn about them without just going to God for that. Okay. It's a big deal in the spiritual world, in the hierarchy of the spiritual world, because I believe that God created aliens, but human beings have pedestaled aliens. We idolize them. They have become so popular, right? Even the government admits their existence now. You can Google this if you don't believe me. But we are placing them on a pedestal above humans, and they're not meant to be placed on a pedestal above humans, and they are not meant to usurp your spiritual practices. They are not meant to take the place of the time that you spend with God. There are certain truths that you can only get from God. God created everything, so God does not have a bias. But every specific creation, every species, if you will, like how, there's many different types of aliens, hundreds that I know of, but aliens have their own agenda. Humans have their own agenda. Animals have their own agenda, right? It's more survival mode. It's a little less complicated, but point being, every different species has their own God-given will. So that's why you want to go to God for answers, because God is this top line view, the creator of the universe, where he's not biased. He doesn't have an agenda, not he, they, right? I've been correcting myself on this, but once again, my own programming gets in the way sometimes. They up here don't have an agenda. There's no bias. There's only love, light, and truth to serve you in expansion, which is the whole goal of this universe. But when you are connecting to these different species and you're asking for support with things, just know that's more of a give to get model. That's also how the underworld and dark forces work. And they have an agenda. So if they are helping you, there is a reason. It's not pure. Because they have needs as a species of their own that face their own risks, right? So it doesn't even need to be a negative thing. It just is how it is. So anyway, that's my unpopular opinion, is that we've over-idolized them, and I did it. And at the point of, I had done like a couple of these recorded activations in a program to open up my Pleiadian portal even more and anchor these codes within my body, which, by the way, I have learned since is absolutely not necessary, because if this is a part of your journey here, it's going to happen naturally. And forcing it, by the way, is an invitation for false Pleiadians and dark aliens to come in through that same portal, trick you, pretend to be beings of love and light, pretend to help you, and then hijack your intuition, right? This creative energy that is what we need to continue to evolve, to grow our businesses, to expand and find our soulmate, and to heal from past lives, this life, all the different things. So I was doing that. I let a lot of them into my fields. It got so bad. There were hundreds in my energy fields, in my business, and in my home. When I teach in the Priestesses of Protection, there's a lot of different places that you'll look for the different types of dark forces based on what they are. It's important to know where they tend to hide so you can catch these So I found all these aliens, but before finding them, I had the worst nightmares, literal night terrors. I've never experienced anything so scary in my whole life. I just remember this dream. It was only about like an hour and a half long, because I woke up at like 12:30. I go to bed pretty early. So I'm in this dream, and there's like an alien guide with me the whole time. And he's just like showing me all these people that I like sort of knew, but didn't know very well. Like no names came to mind when I was kind of reflecting on this the next day. But he's like, this person, they need to die. This is for the good of humanity. We need you to do it. You're one of us now. You've signed up to be with one of us, like forcing me to just commit and come into agreement with them more. Why? Because then it allows more of them in to my field. So I'm literally seeing myself slit these throats with this dark alien guiding me and telling me who to kill. Essentially, this is like population control, which I don't know, is that God's agenda, or is that somebody else's agenda? I'll let you ask yourself that. And at some points it was pretty terrifying, because I'm just watching all these people get beheaded. I'm feeling guilty. Like I'm having all these emotions in the middle of this dream. And at one point my higher self wakes me up, like, enough. This might happen to you guys. Like, start paying attention to what time you wake up, because if you're getting up at like in the middle of the night, especially between the hours of like, certain attacks start around midnight. And then it gets intense around like 2 a.m. So anywhere in that midnight to 2, 3 range, higher self might wake you up because you need to protect yourself. You need to clear something just to reset you a little if you don't have tools to clear you. So just keep that in mind. So these aliens were essentially stealing my energy. When I woke up, even after clearing them in the middle of the night, I felt like it took me an hour to come back down to earth. Has anybody ever had that feeling where it's like, this is the normal time that you set your alarm for every day. It's normal to get up and work out now. Usually you wake up and you're excited because your life is great and you created it that way. And it's just like, you're just laying there in bed and you're like, where the F did I go last night? Like, what happened? Something must have abducted me because I feel like a shell of a human and I slept for 9 hours or 8 hours or 7 hours, right? Whatever it is. It's like, doesn't make any sense. That is a key sign that aliens took you somewhere in your sleep and they were working on you and harvesting your energy and stealing your intuition in your sleep. And that's why you feel like a shell of a human, even though you slept well and you woke up, because your energy body is now fragmented. Parts of it are in their galaxy, they're using it, and you need to call it all back to you, shield, protect yourselves, and clear them so that they don't just do this again tomorrow night, because that's their plan. Let me tell you that. So it took me a while to figure out what was happening. I had to figure out how to break all of these agreements that I had literally opened the door to. I literally had to bring this over to God and work with him to figure out how to clear all of this. And then, thank you, God. Praise God. Amen. I was able to learn this and now share it in my Priestesses of Protection group. I just trained on this yesterday. We did like a whole hour-and-a-half deep dive, breaking all the agreements and a big deep clearing. And we talked about neutral aliens and the good aliens and all that great jazz and everything that I've learned in my years of experience. And it was really interesting because, sometimes I feel a little crazy talking about these topics. I had some nerves even recording this episode because I'm like, surely some people are going to tell me to go to hell, and that's fine. But people were like, this makes so much sense. Like in this group, like every single person in the group chat during the training was like, wow, this makes so much sense. Light bulbs going off, et cetera, et cetera. And then someone even messaged me this morning and she was like, I felt so much energy clearing during the alien clearing yesterday. My head feels so clear today, and there are less thoughts and voices in my mind. She was like, thank you for creating that clearing and sharing it with us. Anyway, that just makes my day. And I just wanted to share that for any of you guys who are like, maybe this is something that I'm going through, because like I said, if you are extremely intuitive, aliens will come for you at some point and they will harvest your intuition to use it for their own agenda. So my invitation to you now is, if you are interested in learning more about the Priestesses of Protection, I have an upcoming workshop that is going to be amazing for turning on spiritual sights. You've got to have a really strong intuition before we dive deeper into the dark force world. It is a requirement. It is absolutely necessary to do things this way for your own protection and safety, and because then you get the joy of knowing that you're so powerful that you can clear all this on your own, and you don't need to keep paying people, Reiki masters, other healers, etc., to work on you all the time, because you've got this divine God-given power within you. So this workshop is called The Art of Energetic Protection. I like to say it's like a mixture of magic and science, but y'all know I'm all about God, so this is not witchcraft. And I'm going to be teaching exactly on how to increase your intuition, how to use it to see into your energy field, even if you are not clairvoyant. So you will become more claircognizant, clairvoyant with the tools I'm going to teach you, clairsentience, and it is just going to feel incredible to have clarity and knowledge about what's actually happening. You will also get my dark forces dictionary. So I will teach you all about the most common dark forces and their symptoms, so you know how to know, oh, this is what's affecting me today. Boom, you get it out of there. You'll get my weakness detox, and this is just a quick energy tune-up you can do on yourself that clears lower vibrational energies that dark forces cord into. This alone right here could save you like a $300 Reiki session, or however much you pay your person. Mine are way more, but based on everybody's skill sets. You will also get my energy vampire clearing, and you will feel amazing after. Energy vampires target your thoughts, and this is also a part of creation and manifestation, and you'll just feel like memories flood back in after this clearing. It's so great, especially for entrepreneurs, to have full control of your thought body. And by the way, if you want to know more about that, I did a YouTube on that like 2 weeks ago. So go check that out if you want more information on energy vampires. You will also get my emotion shield in this workshop, and this will help just keep you free from like everybody else's drama, which also feels amazing, just saying. And then you will also get a broadcasting tool that I love to teach that actually turns your thoughts into magic. This is a neuroscience tool that allows you to program people, places, and opportunities with exactly what you want. So this is the prerequisite, this workshop, to joining the Priestesses of Protection Level 1. And it is on May 13th, this upcoming Tuesday. And I would just love to have you if this is calling you. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Thank you so much for listening to my wild and crazy alien abduction story. I can't even believe I just told this live to hundreds of people. I'm slightly mortified for myself, but my one wish, my last just request and prayer for this episode is that light bulbs are going off for some people who have been really, really heavily harvested and affected by aliens, and that you will give me the honor of serving you in this upcoming workshop. Have a great day.